never knew scholar was a pastor. Pray for me in the Luxi Lima. But like he forget to remember to pray for himself in the Masgra. Last year the man said he retire. Said he gonna walk with cats and stunner. But he say he gets so old and raven. Now they calling him number 7. Sing a parang for us. Boss a parang for us. They say your boss in your boss. So boss a parang for us. Tell them sing a parang for us. Boss a parang for us. Boss a parang for us. As a tribute to toddlers. Yes man. Hey. Them fellas they give him a lot of number 7. Hey. Number 7 means money. Raven. Hi boy. Hey. Like that transformation have a cause. Black folks start to ride on Grenada's boss. But the one what really surprised me is when the black folks swim in DC. We tell them free class election. Them folks seeking for compensation. A fella in Grenada's jump and say them fall and them searching for AJ. Sing a parang for us. Boss a parang for us. They say your boss in your boss. So boss a parang for us. Tell them sing a parang for us. Boss a parang for us. What's a parang for us? And a tribute to toddlers. Yes, man. Them for one compensation. Hey, hey. No more free egg. Ever you fall swim? Hey, hey, boy. Trouble in the south. Society boy like petty drama. Said the PM love rainbow color. He say he's to see how the man pose with a color socks in Barbados. I say well don't discuss that to me. Tell it to the press secretary. Said he I feel you had a bad dream. Oh you want some nutmeg ice cream. Sing a parang for us. Boss a parang for us. They say your boss in your boss. So boss a parang for us. Tell them sing a parang for us. Boss a parang for us. What's a parang for us? And a tribute to toddlers. 31 scoop for you. And if you see Lake, tell him I'll give him half scoop. Darius, I'll give you 4 scoop. NDC has some young fat bowlers, so them fellas bowling some bouncers. Who ain't bouncing check they bouncing van. Who ain't bouncing van they bouncing man. And recently for carnival, even baby Jesus bounce a girl. They say he's a reckless driver. Bounce the woman street on she bumper. Sing a parang for us. Boss a parang for us. They say your boss in your boss. So boss a parang for us. Tell them sing a parang for us. Boss a parang for us. What's a parang for us? And a tribute to toddlers. Just be careful, you know, they say the pitch taking pace. The pitch taking pace. Shot pitch, shot pitch. Right now I'm docking. Watch it now. When you see this hottest coolie, tell him not me what take a lady. Tell him Smalax is not a rasta, and I'm not living in Libera. But who cannot hear they go to feel Rasta take a woman in goat hill. But the one what real puzzling me, both of them camping for NDC. Sing a parang for us, boss a parang for us. They say your boss in your boss, so boss a parang for us. Tell them sing a parang for us, boss a parang for us. What's a parang for us? And a tribute to toddlers. Yes, man. Tell my coolie friend, don't worry. Take it light and patient. You might get back. You might get back. Hey, hey. Rasta you tell why. Donkey you can. Oh, donkey you pumpkin. Crawford in Tivoli, he crying. Said he walk with excellent chicken. Don't know what to do or what to say. Moi make nice, moi ain't get paid. But he say what make him get harassed. Saiba fit a bouquet of flowers. Make him real mama gizom. Rat it for his wife in tourism. Sing a parang for us. Boss a parang for us. They say your boss in your boss. So boss a parang for us. Tell them sing a parang for us. Boss a parang for us. What's a parang for us? And a tribute to toddlers. Pay your bill, brother, pay your bill. The man of responsibility too, you know. The man of children, the man of wife, the man of a life. Pay your bill, brother. Hey, you're on Facebook making marketing. You're doing flower delivery, eh? When I sang and was in Calypso, they say it's Kama Watamiso. But when Shanda was in the semi, said she sang well, they should pick she. Well, me, BB, can me road for she. Who are ranked to live with NNP. You fellas so damn wicked and bad. You see how they read on the standard. Sing up a rank for us. What's up a rank for us? They say you're boss in your boss. So what's up a rank for us? Tell them sing up a rank for us. What's up a rank for us? What's up a rank for us? As a tribute to toddlers. Sing up a rank for us. What's up a rank for us? They say you're boss in your boss. So what's up a rank for us? Tell them sing up a rank for us. What's up a rank for us? What's up a rank for us? As a tribute to toddlers.
Santa, all the money done.
Somebody say Santa in a plane. Somebody say Santa went away. Somebody say Santa in helicopter. Touch all over. Meet him in fishing trawler. Santa don't read no budget for the Christmas. Santa don't read the budget for the Christmas. Santa don't read no budget for the Christmas. Santa don't read the budget for the Christmas. Oh yo yo, ay ay ay. Oh yo yo, ay ay ay. Oh yo yo, ay ay ay. Somebody say, like Santa vex. Somebody say, Santa full of stress. Somebody say, Santa make a mess. Santa was at his best. Santa don't read no budget for the Christmas. Santa don't read the budget for the Christmas. Santa don't read no budget for the Christmas. Santa don't read the budget for the Christmas. Oh yo yo, ay ay ay. Oh yo yo, ay ay ay. Oh yo yo, ay ay ay. Boy, ay 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 ay. Them teachers say Santa is the best. Them police say Santa is the best. What them children say Santa make a mess.
Good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points.
No budget for the Christmas.
No budget for the Christmas, huh?
For the Christmas. Santa don't read no budget
Yes, indeed. My name is Sheldon Scott, here with you until the 10 o'clock hour, huh?
for the Christmas. Santa don't read no budget.
It is Talking Points, and good night to those of you listening locally, regionally, internationally.
Santa don't read no budget.
The submarine cruise around the Caribbean. Good night to you too. You know you tune in.
Oh yo yo, ay ay ay. Oh yo yo, ay ay ay. Oh yo yo, ay ay ay. Oh yo yo.
And of course, we say a special good night to those of you listening via 91.9, 91.5.
Oh yo yo, ay
Real FM.
oh yo yo, ay ay ay. Oh yo yo.
Let me see who is on the YouTube. Folks, remember to hit the like button. Those of you on the Facebook, remember to hit the like and the share button.
Somebody say,
And on the Facebook, I'm seeing Carla Walcott, Charmaine Ragba sing Wallan Aquad. Wallan, what's up, bro?
Santa in helicopter, touch all over. Meet him in fishing trawler. Santa don't read no budget.
Merlene Julian, Peter Striker, Lois Torres St. John, Martin Charles,
Santa don't read no budget. For the Christmas.
Winnie Simon, Sherms Houston,
For the Christmas.
Gillian Prescott, Esther Peters, McLean Mitchell, Ingrid Bourne, Alistair Simon, and Marie Grant, Leslie James, Kimita. How to say that properly in a comida? Let me say it like that, comida. Nesta Sinclair, Cicely Celestine, Betty Ann Murray Ventura, and Joseph, good night to you, my dear. Cynthia B, Ruth Thomas, Landon J, Norman Noel, Velma Buckmeyer, Evelyn Narayan, Kenrick Gibbs, what's up, bro? John Mark and Linda Imelda Francois.
What a Christmas, Santa don't read the budget. What a Christmas.
Big Afford, what's up, bro? Hey. I see Glenda Smith Smolax. Good night, bro. Nurse Wendy and Maguire, how are you?
Them teachers say Santa is the best. Them police say Santa is the best. What them children say Santa make a mess. Them children say Santa wear them to.
And let's see who's over on the YouTube.
What a Christmas.
Moko Pen, good night to you, bro.
Christmas.
I see Herbert Noré, Alban Harris,
What a Christmas.
Gavin Thomas, Jackie Raymond, Faithlin, Hallie Douglas, Ruth Chitterman, Kathleen Ledlow, Shirley James, Matthew Bowen,
What a Christmas.
Carib Spice, good night to you, Gemma Warwood, Adrian Watts, Rosalind Jones, Marilyn Ferguson,
Christmas.
Osbert James, Bernadette Joseph,
What a Christmas.
David Lancus, Deborah Laborde, Peter Lewis, Jacinta Livingston, Desiree Joseph, Mavis Mitchell, Clive Raymond, Patsy Frank, Hermina Batiste, Red Gull Pascal, good night to you, Jenny Samuel, Ann Andrews, Oswald Belfont, Teresa St. John, good life, Jerome Kenneth Lewis, good night. Hermione Calise, Anne-Marie Grant, Renee Zodi, Cassandra Joseph, Eliza Bernard, Angel Mam, Fitzroy Edwards, Casimir Thomas, Michelle Alexander, Stephanie John, Gemma Warwood, Moko Joseph, Sherma Jeremiah. Good night to you, Zayla. Christine Otley, Cynthia Bartholomew, Rodney Barry, Carl, Kathleen Knights, Dr. Julie Dubois,
To see small house in custody. Dr. Mitchell is a real world boss. He begged them fellas to come to class. Well, you know that all of them refuse. And now the whole nation confused. One jump and sell Miss McQueen car. Tevin cause them teachers for water. Big corruption inside Latu. But baby Jesus big like Ogo. Call the police for me. And arrest me like Ziggy.
And remember, folks, we're coming up to the end of the year, so we're going to have to be discussing some of the things that have happened during this year.
It's for me. Even though
Because I'm telling you, this administration, the present NDC administration, is trying to ensure that we forget a lot of things. Remember, the Prime Minister said that by the end of November, they would come back to the people to speak about oil and gas. We're waiting still.
and like the projects that will revert. No river, road and bottle flood. And more linear full up with more. Call the police for me. And arrest me like Ziggy. I prepare to break a jail. I don't want nobody stand me bail. I don't tell them. Call the police for me. Even though I'm not guilty. I know haters will happy to see small house in custody.
Don't let them trick you.
I really thought
Ask them where the marketing board, the new marketing board that was supposed to be open since June, ask them where it is right now, yeah?
fire him as the secretary. But the man
If
he
they think we forgot, no, we're not paying attention. We're paying attention.
came Joseph I know.
If they think we're focused on the NNP convention, NNP convention will come, NNP convention will go. NNP will remain a united and stronger party at the end of the convention. Of that, I am sure.
The police for me. Even though I'm not guilty.
Won't allow it to distract from what is taking place, yeah?
Custody. If I do see the farmer banker, ask him the reason he get fire.
And tonight we will be joined by a guest roughly in about the next 15 minutes. I just have to reach out to them. Make sure that I find... I've got to find my guest, yeah.
Last Malax have all the woman. Call the police for me. And arrest me like Ziggy. I prepare to break a jail. I don't want nobody stand me bail. I don't tell them. Call the police for me. Even though I'm not guilty. I know haters will happy to see small house in custody. I want to be like the Prime Minister. I want to travel the world more regular. I want to go Dubai and Nigeria. Pose with millionaires and take out picture. And I don't care if teachers ain't getting paid. Like donkey, let you jump and breathe. A popular more than GTA. Is my name what's selling this country. Call the police for me. And I
remember this Sunday,
For me, even though
the convention of the new National Party taking place at the St. Andrew Anglican Secondary School. Yes, the delegates and observers will be there.
to realize when Dennis Charles
And
said,
we'll get some more information on that during the week. We'll reach out to the General Secretary, have him call in and get some information from him in relation to what is actually, because some people have been asking me, what is the procedure on the day and so on, and if there's anything. So we'll get the General Secretary on, not tonight,
arrest me
but
like
we'll get him on probably tomorrow night for a few minutes with us.
I don't want nobody stand me bail and tell them call the police for me. Even though I'm not guilty, I know haters will happy to see small house in custody.
Also remember this Sunday, the Wester Hall Music Academy. They've got their activity taking place at the Grenada Trade Center from 5 p.m. That's the Wester Hall Music Academy. They've got their Christmas concert.
Police for me.
There's going to be a lot of talent on display. Yeah, head on out there if you can.
I don't want nobody stand me bail and tell them call the police for me. Even though I'm not guilty, I know haters will happy to see small house in custody.
Yes, folks. Also remember the school fair. Yeah. All you can't forget JJ school fair. Yeah, that is, oh boy. And again, the computer start to play the fool with me again tonight. Nice. No. You can't do that. You can't do that to me tonight, computer. Yes, you all are hearing me, but just know that the image has stalled. Let me see if I can sort that out. The update on this thing is really giving a problem. And I don't know, Lord, now he ain't coming up at all. Yeah, it disappeared me there, you know. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I think I get it sorted out there. Now it freeze again. Yeah, it freeze again there. Let me see if we could get that to sort out. Yeah, that's what has happened, you know. Yeah, from time to time, it's software. So from time to time, you have these problems taking place. Let me see if I could just bring this up and sort that part out. Nice, yeah.
Who go sing that in para? Or who go sing a Shapley song? I'm going to call my partner Lakey. I hope he did. Carnival taking too long to come. Innocent would never sing that song. By then the topic might get still, or they may try to put me in jail. Send our children to buy for food. They won't have to cry.
And just in case you all recognize that was happening with the parliament today, they're using the same software as I am. So I think it's definitely something with the software itself. It's not specific to us here, but there is a problem with the software that we're using, and it goes across the board, because I was trying to pay attention to Parliament today, and I knew they were having similar problems during the Parliament sitting today. So let's hope that this stabilizes now. Let's hope that it stabilizes at least for the rest of the night. Yeah, let's hope it could hold on. Yeah, we know it's sticking, yeah.
Growth in the economy. They say the money paid pension, expecting economic reflection. But there was nothing like that. People bank account just get fat. Who go sing that in para? Or who go sing a Shapley song? I'm going and call my partner Lakey. I hope he did. Carnival taking too long to come. Someone can write them kind of song. By then the topic might get still, or they may try to put me.
So I was telling you all about the annual school fair of the Star Academy that's taking place this Thursday, and it starts at 12 p.m. at the Limes basketball court. Yeah, so go on out, support the young ones. They say you can wear something red or green or whatever you have, wear it. Come on out. Once you're coming out, eats and drinks will be on sale. They're gonna have various games and so on. So yeah, head on out to that one. Those of you in the south, or if you're passing through the south on Thursday, you can head on out there. So it starts at 12 noon. Go out and support the tiny mites, the little ones. Yes, so that's the annual school fair of the Star Academy that's taking place this Thursday from 12 noon at the Limes basketball court. All right, yes, so head on out to that one. Nice.
But everybody balling, things so dread. The supporters don't want to get exposed, so they still balling with them out close. Who go sing that in?
Yeah, I know the problem that's happening with the video, folks.
Call my partner Lakey.
As I said, it's not only here, but it seems there's a general problem with the software. GIS today, I recognized that while they were broadcasting Parliament, they were having some of the similar problems I was having last night. So it is not singular to talking points there, but we'll get it sorted out. Don't worry, we'll get it sorted out. We have a call online. Hello, good night. Hello. Hello? Hello? Oh boy, so I seem to have lost that caller. Let's try again. Hello, good night. Hello? Hello, good night, caller.
Hello.
Yeah, we're hearing you. Pay attention to the phone line. Go right ahead. You're live.
Yes, Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
Sheldon. I am calling from the Nutmeg State, and
Yes,
I'm
sir.
calling very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I'm calling seriously.
Hello? Oh, there seems to be a problem with that caller's device. Hello? Yeah, there seems to be a problem with that caller's device. So we may have to come back to that caller. Caller, you can also try to get us on the WhatsApp if the direct line is giving you problems. You can try to get us on the WhatsApp. Let's try one more time. Hello, good night.
This is the same caller.
Yes, go right ahead. Yeah.
All right. Now, I remember you called, and I was on the program, and you said, be careful of people who might be calling and saying that there's this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, last night, my wife and I was in bed. I received a call. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you clearly. I'm listening to you, so go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I was in bed. I received a call. Someone said, my name is Anthony, and we're going to have a meeting with the, I call your program, and I also call Francis Pierre.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have a Galaxy meeting. And I say, okay, yes. Then all of a sudden, there was a call from Grenada. My WhatsApp was gone. Okay?
You repeated a
My
code for
WhatsApp-
them?
Huh?
They asked you to repeat a code for a meeting.
Yes. They say,
No, never
touch
do that.
the code.
Never do that.
No. They said, touch the code, press the code, press it. I said, okay, yes. They said, we're going to have a gathering and press the code. I said, yes, okay. And as a result, my whole WhatsApp was gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Number two, I said, okay. I said, I had no WhatsApp. Then I called my wife, who was in my bed. I said, let me see what is happening. I called my wife, who was sitting next to me, who was lying next to me. And when I called my wife answered, and there was someone answering the phone. My wife answered, and there was someone in the background. I heard a fire truck going. I said, but wait, I'm in America. There was no fire truck. Why is a fire truck going? I said, okay. I hang up. I said, baby, let me call you. Let me text you or message you. I say, hi, baby. And someone answered my hi, baby on my white phone. There, when someone is answering the phone, there are two blue lines, okay?
Yeah.
That they
So,
receive it.
Let me say what has happened there is that you have been conned into handing over your WhatsApp to that individual. What you need to do is let all the folks who you contact on WhatsApp know that you have lost access to your WhatsApp, because these scammers will now use that to impersonate you and say that something, for instance, like, I'm fallen into a problem, I need you to send me a $500, or I need you to send me $1,000, or whatever it is. So they're going to impersonate you now.
Children, okay, stop 1 minute. I'm in America, and the same thing you're saying. I called my friend at work, and when I called him, someone answered and said, and he hung up the phone and said, no, that's not, I won't come in here. That's not my friend. I won't come in here.
But do you remember the number that called you? Do you have a copy of the number that called you?
It was a Grenada number.
Yeah,
It
but
was a Grenada number.
I need to specifically know the number. So anyone, because someone else is saying that the number, call them. Karen, send the number for us so we could let folks know to avoid that number. We need the number that called.
No, but why I call Francis Pierre, I call you, and when I all so then I'm gonna have to tell all my this person is an African number. His name, he says, my name is Anthony with a Nigerian name. It has a Nigerian accent. My sister is a Nigerian accent. He said we will be having a forum meeting.
Yes, I understand. So we've spoken about it here before, and we've told people to never send any codes or so to people. Don't ever do that. Yeah, because this is exactly what happened to you is what happens. They would call and say we're having a meeting. For instance, they may call and say we're having a talking points meeting. That you need to send this code back to us so that we could confirm. And when you do that, what they are going to do is that they are going to take over your account. So you have to be very careful with that. Eh?
So why is this happening? I mean, what is causing this?
No, they're doing that because they then use that opportunity. They use that then to scam people that you know. So they use that. When you do that, they use that number and they start calling people that you know and they ask people to send money to them and so on. So you just have to let your friends and so know the number is compromised. You do not have control of the number. So any messages they see coming from it, they should ignore. All right? And then you need to probably go into a tech store somewhere close to you and see if one of the people at the phone companies can help you to reclaim your WhatsApp account.
But no, right at this point, that number is dead. Because, but the point is, they have already compromised all my contacts. I have a new number. Okay. That number I'm calling to you is new.
Okay, I can't see the number. I can't see the number you're calling from, though. But here's what. Give me a buzz on the internal number here. Give me a call on that number a little later, and I'll talk you through part of it. All right?
All right.
Okay, my brother. Thank you so very much, and I'm sorry that has happened with you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, folks. That again. And some folks say they're hearing me low, and I'm seeing it low as well. I'm not sure. Probably again the software is having an issue. I'm trying my best here, but the software itself is having an issue. I hope that's a bit better for you all. Yeah, I think this should help it a bit. Yeah, I think that should help it a bit there. Right. Yeah. Do not send any codes to anyone. Anyone calling you, do not send codes to them. All right? When you send the code to them, they are going to take over your WhatsApp account. When they take over your WhatsApp account, according to how you have it set up, they'll be able to see all your contacts and message them. All of the chat groups that you're in, they will automatically be in those groups. And then they'll get the numbers of all the people in those groups. And they'll be able to speak to those people as though they are you. Yeah, because most people, they text. They don't call, voice call and that sort of thing. So you have to be very careful. There is, I'll let you all know, there is no Zoom meeting, no meeting taking place with Talking Points or any of our programs. And so the convention of the NNP is coming up. Expect them to come and say there is Zoom meeting for the NNP convention and you need to send a code to be part of it. They're going to try that. Be aware there is no Zoom meeting and so on in relation to that. Do not send any code for anybody. Let me repeat. Do not send any codes for anybody. Let me say it a third time. Do not send any codes off of your device for anyone. All right? Nice. And let me see if I'm getting my good friend here. I think he should be hearing me. I'm not sure if he is. But he should be hearing me there. Hello, good night. Hello. He may have stepped away from the machine. So, yes, we're going to get our guest in with us in a short while. But again, folks, you have to be very, very careful. There are a lot of scammers out there. What they do is they take over your mobile device and then they use that opportunity now to go and play you and ask people for money and ask people for credit card information and all sort of thing if you're stupid enough to send your credit card information. They do all these things. So you have to be very, very careful, yeah? And you cannot be giving that information to any and anybody. Yeah? They want to confirm this and we're sending a code for the meeting to you. We need to confirm. No. So let me also say a special good night to the Ford crew. Vernon, Marilyn, Brandon, Sherry-Ann, Anne-Marie, Kathleen, Rosanna. A special good night to each and every one of you. And hey, my good partner I meet today, man. Sayo. Good night to you, Sayo. And Mavis. Good night to you, Mavis. I meet a lot of people today. A short time I spent downtown today and I meet a lot of people. So a special good night to each and every one of you and Grandpa. Yes, I'm trying to remember the name the young man told me. His grandmom, his grandfather listens to the program every night. And my good friend out there in the Limes, who I met on the bus this morning, a special good night to you as well. Hope that you are having a fabulous, fabulous night. So let me just ensure that I get our guest on. So let's just do our audio. Good night to you, sir. How are you doing?
Good night, sir. Good night.
All right. Right. I hear in your proper, just giving you 2 minutes to settle yourself there and make sure everything. Rodney, how are you doing?
Say fine.
So let me just bring you up now. I haven't brought you up yet, so let me just bring you up now. And good night to you, Mr. Nimrod Olivier. How has your night been going?
Good night to you, Sheldon, and good night to the Talking Points family, home and abroad, the diaspora. I know you're international, so we have to reach out to everybody and acknowledge everybody.
Yes, indeed. And how has the week been going thus far? I mean, I know you've been busy. You've been in, out, around.
It's a bit hectic, but I function very well, and on hectic situations. A little chaos is good. In terms of the things that you have to do, not chaos in terms of mayhem, but in terms of it's a lot to get done. But it's getting done. That's why we are NMPs, right? We strong and we fortified.
Rodney is ready to do an interview as well. Now, I asked for you to come on because I think it's important. Several things have happened for this year. Over the year, several things have happened. And I think it's important that we go back on some of the things that have been taking place for 2024. And even before 2024, as I said yesterday, 900 days of the NDC in office. Yeah, imagine.
Yes, and I think you draw an analogy at Christmas Eve would be even another milestone, right?
Yeah, if we get a Christmas present of less NDC. So, because at that point, they would have crossed the halfway mark. So on Christmas Day, by that time, we get a nice Christmas present, less NDC, not more. So what I have to ask about now, we've got the situation that we've been seeing for the year thus far when it comes to the crime situation in Grenada. We've been seeing the crime situation in Grenada for this year. Quite a few murders. In fact, one that made international headlines. I think a lot of people don't forget about that already. I don't even see like a follow-up on the case, what is taking place with the case and that sort of thing. So we have a lot of things taking place.
Like everything else, I guess the administration, the police department feels maybe if we don't talk about it, it's going to disappear, right? And, I beg to differ with that. I think citizens have a right to be informed as to what's going on in our country, especially when it comes to our security and national security. We have the hierarchy of the police force, starting from the police commissioner down that's not engaging don't seem that we pay taxes here, and somehow they seem to think that we are not entitled to information. Information being sought, and it's like we'll get back to you, or we would let you know. So I don't think I haven't heard of any prolific strategies that were put in place to combat the rise in crime. You are correct. There were some noted murders throughout the year, and it continued. I think
I'm not even sure how much we on. I'm not even sure how many murders that we're on.
I think I lost count maybe around 17, 18. So
yeah.
I'm not sure if it's more than that, but in any event, that's still a number that's higher than what we experienced in the previous years, right? So it's concerning, it's alarming. But again, you have a police force that where they hierarchy don't seem to be engaged. And I just want to make this point at this point. We went through Hurricane Beryl, which was a catastrophic disaster. And I don't think one time I heard from our police commissioner, as it concerns to anything, whether or not, just to do a press conference, that the police force was prepared and is ready and capable to face whatever challenges. And we know that there were some challenges that were there. I don't think one time, maybe he did do a couple press conferences, but I don't recall seeing any. But that's basically the state of where we are.
You're saying that you haven't seen the Commissioner of Police. I think the first question is, who is the Commissioner of Police? I think most Grenadians are unaware at this point in time of exactly who Grenada's Commissioner of Police is. I'm trying to remember who the one that was supposed to be there, who was there on the press conference earlier this year, and we had my goodness, it was not quite reassuring.
Above his pay grade?
That was the questions were above his pay grade, and since then,
as far as I know, he's still sitting in the chair. He has not been moved yet. He may have been even they may have even extended his contract. So as far as I know, he's still there.
So because I'm not sure. We don't hear from the Commissioner of Police. In fact, these days we barely hear from the police. Usually, at this point in time, you're going into the Christmas season. The police would usually, under Commissioner Martin, under Commissioner Bido, under Commissioner James, under Commissioner Clarkson, all of them, you would usually hear by this point in time that we are rolling out, because you're just 2 weeks away from Christmas. So since the ending of last month, you would hear we are rolling out our Yuletide, so and so, and this is what we're doing. And so I must say, I have picked up the police, I think it's a detective that is on radio each morning, giving little tidbits of how to be safe for the season and so on, and how to be safe in general. I must applaud the police force for that one. There's an officer, I usually hear him on WeFM, I believe, in the morning, giving bits and pieces. I know the police are also usually on Real FM. They are there. But you don't hear from the leadership of the force.
Well, no, Sheldon, the leadership are working, they're just not working for the citizens. They're doing, I tell you, you know what they do? They look to see which police officer maybe likes a Facebook post that maybe you or I put up, or somebody from the New National Party put up, and then they will call them down to headquarters to tell them, oh, you like so-and-so post, and so-and-so does not support this government. So that's the kind of work that they are doing. Nonsense.
But I found it, and as you mentioned, I found it very, very disturbing that a particular publication on Weekend Gone focused heavily on who they believe to be police officers at the New National Party function. And believe me, I found some people may have just gone past the article, but I found it to be a bit disturbing.
I mean, our last rally in Buseju, I counted at least 9 police officers in plain clothes. I mean, imagine the New National Party had to pay for police officers to work at the rally, where there's a sitting prime minister.
No, man,
right?
hold on. Where are you telling me?
I'm not asking you. I'm not guessing. I am telling you the New National Party had to pay the Royal Grenada Police Force for police officers to work at the rally where there was a sitting prime minister and a former prime minister and the political leader. So you had two former prime minister
And MPs.
and political leader.
And you had MPs.
And you had MPs there. And you had to pay for police to be at Buseshu. But yet, I walked through the crowd, you know, and I counted at least 9 police officers from the special branch there conducting surveillance. So they have the resources to spy and see who was coming and who's there in the rally, but you don't have the resources to protect a sitting prime minister. I mean, it's embarrassing because no way the prime minister of Grenada would go to any country in the Caribbean or around the world for a function, whether it's party or whether it's at the invitation of the government, and that party would have to pay for police officers to be at a function where our prime minister is. It's embarrassing.
No, I think that is, and I hope people understand the seriousness of what you're saying. That's a serious break in protocol. You should not have to pay for police officers to come to such a function. So they had enough that was there that they were not on the, didn't have to be paid by the New National Party, but came there basically to Mako.
Yes.
Then they tried to cover it with an article over the weekend trying to say, well, look, these police officers supporting NNP, they were there in T-shirts and so on. When in truth and in fact, they sent some officers, recognized after we spoke about it that, look, yeah, you have officers inside there, are now claiming that these officers were supporters of the NNP. They had various people there. I saw some of them, and they were there clandestinely, well, attempting to be clandestine, taking photos of people and that sort of thing. And again, I agree with you. You find the time and you find the resources to send these officers to the NNP function in that capacity, and they could not say they were securing the Prime Minister of Jamaica. That is not true because they were not anywhere near the stage. They were not anywhere near that part of the thing.
No, they were in the crowd. Well, I mean, you know that there was a crowd there. We know that you know, the field was soggy. So
you want to see my boots.
a vast majority of the crowd was on the you know, like the roadway path.
Yeah.
And so I walked around and I saw them. I mean, you know, I know quite a number of the police officers here, especially those in special branch. You know, and I at least 9 of them. But it's not that they were just there in the crowd. You see them attempting to smartly take pictures of who they suspect might be civil servant or who they know are civil servant and they see at the rally. Again, half of them don't have the training. So, you know, they couldn't even execute. Because with the technology that we have now, I mean, you shouldn't even be having your cell phone. You know, you and I both know, hey, you could have a pen in your hand or a ball cap or even your sunglasses or whatever that you could take these kind of pictures with. But, you know, you see them busy with their cell phone and trying to hold it covertly and taking pictures. I mean, it's embarrassing. Meanwhile, we have police officers that are working. I mean, you go up the western side, you go to the eastern side, St. David's, they're working almost in squalor. There's moles in police stations. What is the police commissioner doing about that? Right? Their campaign, the NDC administration campaign, and fool these police officers that they would bring a better quality of life to them and that they would fix these stations. You still have stations where buckets are put in the middle to collect water when rain is falling. You go on the ground and you walk up the western side and the people they're telling you, well, the court moved because the court said they didn't want to be in the building, it has mold. So and so don't want to be in the building, it has mold. What is the hierarchy of the force doing? Didn't we bring back somebody that you know, on a contract and that was supposed to help with succession planning that was put in charge of buildings? So you have a high-ranking officer. So by this time, 2.5 years later, we should have had a total renovation and where our police officers are in a much better experience and experiencing a much better quality of life. But instead, we are focused on, let's follow the Dr. Mitchell, let's follow this one, let's hear what they're saying, let's see what they're doing. Well, I mean, what are we gaining from that? How is that helping the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pidima?
And while things have calmed down for now, we cannot fall into a false sense of security that things are okay, that everything is all well and okay. In fact, I think one of the senior officers who was brought back to criminal investigation department and who was made several of the breakthroughs that were made on some of the murders, I think that person is now out on retirement.
I wouldn't doubt it. I didn't follow up, but I wouldn't doubt it, because guys are demoralized. The police force is demoralized. There's no other way to put it. Guys are unhappy. We know there was a attrition, and yes, they did try and recruit and bring in some younger guys, but the guys with the experience, they're just fed up. They just have it because, listen, Sheldon, I always maintain, and I've said that to you several times, no one but you knows who you are voting for when you go to put the X. And you definitely don't need your workplace labeling you as this color and that color. And it's unprofessional. It makes no sense. And clearly, the hierarchy of the police force is operating the police force along political lines, and it seems like they have to please their masters in order to keep their job. For instance, you have a police commissioner, you have a deputy, right? Mm-hmm. If the police commissioner goes out, let's say, on vacation, and he goes in a course, who should naturally be operating or running the police force?
Well, obviously, a deputy should be stepping in.
But why it is in the Royal Grenada Police Force, when the police commissioner is not in office, you have an assistant commissioner, you have an ACP running the force over the deputy. Who's fooling who? Who's fooling who?
Well, definitely, I think that in this year especially, some of the faults, some of the problems of the Royal Grenada Police Force came to the fore with some of what we saw happening this year. We saw the escape of prisoners, and I think a lot of people don't realize, I think there was an escape after that quite recently again from one of the facilities. There was an escape again. So we saw several of the problems that the police force are facing and so on. We saw them coming to the fore during this year. Again, one quite spectacularly, international news. Up to this day, the bodies of the individuals have never been found. And we still do pray for the families and so on. We know the situation. We know that it's highly unlikely, but we still do pray for the family and so on that lost their loved ones. And we wait to hear the outcome of those cases and so. And I think Grenadians have to ask themselves a very pertinent question, my brother. Do you feel safer now than you felt 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago? Do you feel safer now than you felt at that point in time?
Well, I'm Grenadian, and I could answer, no, I don't feel safe, because I think there's been a decrease in the amount of respect that the younger citizenry and the general citizenry has for police officers. I think people sense the lack of motivation among our police officers, the lack of demoralization among our police officers, and as a result of that, I think guys are a lot more brazen than we may have seen 4 or 5 years ago.
And again, continue to send the warning out. While things are calm now, I just be on the streets, I hear talk. While things are calm now, pay attention to what's going on. Instead of taking those special branch officers and have them following members of the new National Party to see where they go and who they meet with and who they talk with, I think it would be important that you send them into specific communities. I ain't going to call name because me want to label nobody, but send them into specific communities and make sure that they collect the information that can help preserve and protect Grenadian lives. Because some of what I'm picking up out there isn't nice at all. Yeah? Some of what I'm picking up there isn't nice at all. Yes, indeed. And folks, I'm speaking with Mr. Nimrod Olivier, my good buddy. And every now and again, we speak about issues like security and so on. But let me ask this question of you, Nimrod Olivier. I saw a Facebook posting by one Kennedy Budlal recently, where he made an accusation. Yourself as a former law enforcement official, if you as an officer see a man openly saying that he and somebody else was planning to kill somebody, what would you do?
Well, I mean, it's natural what has to be done. There is no statute limitation when it comes to murder and the planning of murders, and so he definitely would have been brought in for questioning. Murder is one of the highest felonies or one of the highest crime anyone can commit, and so once the insinuation, and again, it was a direct insinuation. He was not indicating that, well, I know of two men that was planning that. He said he and someone was planning that. So definitely, I didn't even have to be a supervisor. Even if when I was a police officer, you come across something like that, you would, have to come down to us and explain exactly what do you mean by that, and get some information regarding.
Because I know that when I was interviewing Dr. Mitchell on Friday, he did indicate that he has written to the Commissioner of Police on this issue and that they have responded, that they will be investigating the matter. But did they have to wait for him to write and say this? Because it's not like he's saying I'm taking legal action. This is a criminal matter as far as he's concerned. If you are alleging this, then investigate it. It has to be investigated. It's a serious allegation that's being made.
The fact that the opposition leader had to write to them requesting an investigation showed that somebody is asleep at the wheel. It showed that somebody is not doing what's supposed to be done. And again, it speaks to the national level, the national security level, because there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Hey, who was this about? Is this person still alive? Is this still an active threat? Did this person die? And B, how did they die? You've heard of cold cases.
Yeah.
Right? And so you solve cold cases sometimes 30 years later, 35 years later, 40 years later. Because you were saying that you were planning this against an individual. What if this person did end up dying from a suspicious death maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago? So it was pertinent for the police to do the due diligence and bring the gentleman in and have a dialogue with him.
Yeah, I think it's very important that they do their job. They need to bring the individual in, and they need to question the individual, and they also need to come back to at least Dr. Mitchell and let him know what's going on. Let the general public know, because it was a public post that was made, and I realized when the individual was questioned about it last night, they duck, they start to run.
Well,
you're making statement and then you're running afterwards.
Of course, he would duck and run because he's a liar.
That's obvious. That part is obvious, yeah.
And it seems that he's making it up as he go along. I mean, why now? Why now? Why you saying why now you choose to come forward? Why not all these years? Why not you said you were aligned and then you fell out? I mean, look, we're dealing with an individual here that we know was very prevalent, very active on March 13, 1979. And what did Morris do? He helped the revolution on March 13, 1979. And how was he rewarded? He was rewarded by being put in jail by the same comrades that he helped. Why? Because they realized that he was a loose cannon and they had to contain him. So it probably was either jail or some other drastic means, and they decided to put him in jail. So that's the type of individual that we're dealing with.
But let me ask this part of it then, or not necessarily ask, but make this statement. He is openly stating that he is supporting a particular individual for leadership of the new National Party. He's openly stating that. He's also openly stating that he's on the campaign of that individual to get the individual into the leadership of the new National Party. Don't you think it would be wise, at least for that individual, to either A, publicly distance themselves, because this person seems to be a madman with some of the things they're saying, either publicly distance yourself from the person, or at least publicly say, listen, I am not taking part in this kind of thing. Stop it. Say it publicly, openly, so everybody could hear. I am not taking, because you know there's a trend that's taking place in Grenada now. Now, when you listen to, for instance, some of the quote-unquote activists of the National Democratic Congress, and you hear them out there, and you hear the absolutely nasty things that they say about individuals. And I'm speaking about totally bottom of the drain, lally, gutter, kind of wabin behavior. Total earthworm, drain, lally behavior that some of them get on with. The posts that they make on social media, the stories that they write, the things that they go on platforms and say, be it social media platforms or even NDC platforms and say. And not once have we heard the Prime Minister / political leader of the National Democratic Congress say to these people, I don't believe in that sort of thing, stop it. I don't believe in that sort of thing, don't do it. Or that this person or that mentality or those statements don't reflect me and the organization that I lead. You don't hear those sort of things.
Sheldon, and as you're saying that, I mean, the thing that comes to mind is the gentleman that made the allegations about the people in River Road and Sans Souci regarding, the Prime Minister's residence, where several former Prime Ministers of this beautiful nation stayed. And his justification was that the current Prime Minister can stay at that residence because he's more or less looking over people that are for letter class. And I always say, I mean, I can't wait for the election to come around to see how the NDC will go to these people and ask for their vote. Because like you rightly said, I was expecting almost immediately for the Prime Minister of Grenada and Carriacou and Petit Martinique to distance himself from that statement. And to date, as far as I know, he has never done so. And I was so disappointed that we have a leader that could have one of his surrogates, somebody that says he's friends with the Prime Minister, make such despicable statement, and the leader of a nation could not distance himself. Likewise, with the current situation here, if I was the one that was a candidate for leadership of any group, even if it's the marble group in the community and I wanted to be the head marble pitcher, and somebody that's purporting to be on my side would make statements like that, almost immediately I would put a statement out distancing myself from such statement, because I cannot see how it could be beneficial for you. And then on top of that, you go to the nation and say you want to have a unity speech, where it was almost 12 minutes of nonsense, but that's neither here nor there. And you can't even come out and distance yourself from these surrogates that are making these slanderous attacks on our current political leader. The point is, regardless of what we might want to do or what might happen in the future, he's still the political leader of the New National Party. So I cannot see how you could say you are a member of the New National Party and you are supporting the New National Party when you are condoning such behaviors. Because if you cannot respect those in leadership now, how you expect to get leader? How you expect to get respect? And it goes back to what we started with the police force. Because the hierarchy of the police force did not respect their members when they came in, and they labeled them as green and yellow, and so they don't get the respect now. You cannot say, well, cause the man, say all kind of thing about the man or the woman in charge, and then you looking to get into that position to lead that said organization. I mean, it's I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I haven't figured it out. So maybe you could help me, Sheldon.
Well, my friend, the problem that we're having here is that people need to distance themselves from certain things to prove that they had nothing to do with it.
Thank you very much.
I'm using the example of the current sitting Prime Minister. Instead of distancing himself from certain characters who are there making certain statements and acting in certain ways and saying certain things, he is going onto their platforms. Yep. He is making sure that he's seen with these individuals. Whereas I could tell you right now, if I were to let go some bad word on this program right now, I know that I'd see my phone ringing. And I know who would be calling. And I know that they would pull you up one time and say, and not only him, but various members within and even outside of the party, because I do this program and there are some people, there's some heavy church people, and so does me listening to this program. And sometimes earlier morning I get a call, and here, Sheldon, you said so, and you know, you need to be careful with that. You need to be careful, and so on. So there are various people that would call and say to you, and you have to be humble enough to understand that, listen, people calling you for your own good. And sometimes the advice they're giving you is to improve what it is you're doing. Had we not listened to many people, we may not have been able to be at the level that we are at right now with this program. So it's important to have the people who would say that to you. But you can't have people running like mad dog out there just saying things about people. The accusation that was made by that individual is a serious accusation that any decent country on earth, the individual would have already been visited by officers of the Royal Grenada Police Force. Well, of the police force in that territory, whatever they name, he would have been visited by them.
And not just be visited, from there on out, continuously being monitored. Sheldon, I'm a strong believer that a man's self-worth is measured by his level of integrity and moral. I believe integrity and moral speaks a lot to a person's character. And so therefore, the persons that we associate with and the things that they do to malign each other and viciously attack each other, it's a reflection of you, the individual that's condoning it. Because if you don't speak out on it, that means you're condoning it.
Mm-hmm. And again, it goes even further than this, my friend. When you take a look at the parliament and you see what happens in parliament, you have to understand why sometimes Dr. Mitchell has had to leave the chamber and go and get something and come back. Because me, for myself, I'm telling you, there was no way, after spending some 40 years in the parliament of the country and having people at the level of Dr. Francis Alexis, you've had people at the level of the late George Brizan, you've had people at the level of even Sir Danny Williams, just gone to the great beyond and so on, in the parliament of the country. Even love him or hate him, you had people like Nazim Burke, who was good on an intellectual. You could have that discussion back and forth with him, but it was an intellectual one. It wasn't a personal dig and he attack you and you attack him, but there was an intellectual back and forth that would take place. I used to like to see him and Doc when it on budget and them kind of thing. I used to like to see that. But when you had those kind of individuals, and then to end up with what you have in parliament now trying to talk down to you,
it's a travesty.
I mean, after you go through that, and
and you laugh, right? Because I mean, you have Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, 40 years. Honorable Peter David, definitely 20-something years. Honorable Emlyn Pierre, just about a little over 20 years, right? Honorable Clarice Modest, the oldest female parliamentarian in Grenada, right? And who's the next? Oh yeah, it's 5, right?
Kate.
And Sister Kate, right?
On her second term, yeah.
On her second term. Some of them in parliament never even had a steady job. But you go in there all boisterous and all cocky and all knowing and listen to us. Listen to me, very disrespectful. You don't know what you did. I mean, people wrote bills and signed off on bills and helped craft bills that are being used today in this land. And you never even had a job yet, or a concrete job. And it's like, oh, they don't know what they're saying. Rather than say, you know what? We get it. We're not on the same side. But at the same side, you could disagree, but disagree respectfully.
And I think
it starts from the top.
And again, I think that's the main thing to capture here. There has to be a certain level of respect. When you look, and this is the behaviors that I'm speaking about that carries on. Part of leadership is being able to guide your team, especially on a proper path, to guide your team so that they would do the proper thing. And if you cannot guide your team, you are not a proper leader, and your organization, your party, your government will have problems. Because as it is right now, you see the kind of childish behavior by this organization, and I see the attempt. I see the attempt by this organization. I see the attempt by this organization to try and place the NNP as a old people party and a old people this and a old people that and the other. But you have to understand that these individuals, they don't respect their elders. They don't respect people and the work that they have done before. And it's sort of frightening. It's sort of frightening, my brother. I look at Parliament, and honestly, especially the House of Representatives, sometimes I'm turned off by what I'm hearing there. I mean, I have to listen, but I'm turned off by what you're hearing there. Because, for instance, there was recently the debate on the October 19th. I think that all members on the New National Party side were very clear that they are not against October 19th being a holiday. They were making suggestions that how you frame the October 19th may have to be different. That if you frame it as Heroes Day, then immediately, without officially naming the heroes, you are saying the people that died on that day are heroes.
Yes.
And then you have to remember that there were people from the two sides that died on that day.
Yes.
So you are officially framing them without putting pen to paper. You are framing them as the heroes. Now, all the NNP was saying is, don't call it Heroes Day. You could call it Martyrs Day. You could call it Remembrance Day. You could call it whatever. And you can have another day unattached to any of these things that took place and call that day Heroes Day.
Heroes Day, yes.
And that day you celebrate all your heroes. You can celebrate them. If people want to do cruise, you do cruise. And this is the next thing. This government want to tell people when you could do cruise and when you can't do cruise and all kind of thing. Papa, you.
North Korea? I don't know.
I still feel sometimes them North Korean maybe have more rights than us.
Maybe more rights and freedom.
Because
I will give you a holiday, but there will be no music playing. Or I'll give you a holiday and there'll be no other activity and everyone has to come to Queen's Park.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Again, the people need to understand we have basic fundamental rights. And our fundamental rights are enshrined in the Constitution of Grenada. And probably, I don't know if it's through Brother Dwight Hosford or one of the lawyers or so, we may have to bring a lawyer in or something and go over it. But we definitely need to have a discussion in relation to the Constitution of Grenada. And probably that's one of the things that we can do. Early in the new year, we can have that discussion about the Constitution of Grenada and what are your rights as a Grenadian citizen. Because I think a lot of people just take things for granted. And I think Grenadians need to understand what their rights are and how you go about if your rights are being trampled on. Because I think a lot of people, our rights are being trampled on, and a lot of us, we just can't be bothered. They say don't play music, we ain't playing no music and so. Yeah? I mean, if they say don't play loud music, that's one thing. You need a license for that, but you don't want people, you're telling people go to church on the day and all that kind of thing. Brother Nimrod Olivier.
Well, we are a church state, so maybe it might be mandated every Sunday that each and every one of us might have to go to church Sunday or Saturday. So maybe half the nation might be Saturday and half the nation might be Sunday, because it seems that's where we're heading.
Man.
I agree with you totally. I think that someone needs to start taking a look at it, because you're definitely trampling on people's constitutional rights. And you've heard it. You've heard it. Not even people that are politically affiliated, but there are holidays that are more holy.
Yeah, Christian, more religiously oriented.
Exactly. Right. For lack of a better word. Yes. You have Good Friday, right? Mm-hmm. And And yet you don't get these rigid rules and guidelines. But then again, maybe the fact that we're pointing it out now, maybe they might start implementing that and make it just as rigid as Heroes Day.
Well, I think that by and large, what we may be seeing very soon is exactly that. Listening to the Prime Minister speaking when they were talking about those holidays and so, I did hear mention of the Easter and that sort of thing. So if our promoter don't look too forward to being able to do anything during the Easter period, that's Saturday, because I know some people for the Easter, they have activities on the Friday night, the Thursday night, in fact, yeah, because the Friday is a holiday, they have activities the Thursday night. From the Thursday night, they move to some have things on the Friday night, Saturday during the day, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night. Some folks have things going throughout the weekend. And I know while some may be planning that they're going to have activities then, all you better check with the Prime Minister first. Because next thing we are told we have to go to church during that period of time and no other activities, huh?
But Sheldon, you cannot have your cake and eat it. You cannot say church and state are separated and then you want to make it conveniently together when it suits your narrative. You know, you can't be both ways.
What was the statement about morality?
It's a private matter.
Morality is a private matter.
A private matter.
Yeah, but still go to church on the Heroes Day.
And church and state are separated, right? It's two separate entities, right? When we were dealing with the Samora agreement type thing, yeah, right? It's two separate things. So you can't have it for one and then, you know, put it away when it's not convenient to you. You know, it doesn't work that way. The citizenry needs, you need cohesiveness. And so people will speak up and people will rise up against that because we cannot legislate people's rights and freedom as it relates to what they do on specific days, you know. We are a free nation.
Maybe the next one is we may be told report for militia training on specific mornings. Tuesdays and Thursdays, report for militia training at such and such a playing field. We'll be told that soon. Yes, indeed. Folks, I'm speaking with Sir Nimrod Olivier. We're just generally speaking about various things that has happened during this year, in particular in relation to national security, but we're speaking the politics as well. Every time it's Nimrod, we always speak about all different kind of things. Because another one, have you heard anything about the Marketing and National Importing Board? The last I was hearing from the Prime Minister, we were supposed to have a public-private partnership. They had engaged a company that they were going to work with, and the public-private partnership was supposed to reopen in June of this year.
Yes.
Have you heard anything in relation to that?
I haven't heard anything as it regards to that, but maybe it's in the pipe. Oh, no. NNP is the one that does have things in the pipeline. So maybe maybe they're working on it. And they're going to let us know because we know we're dealing with a government that lets us know stuff on a need-to-know basis, right? That's what we were told. But I have not heard anything since the deadline was slated for June. But frankly speaking, I don't think that we expect to get anything as it regards to the Marketing and National Importing Board because the recommendations that were made was not to close, but let's find a way to make it more sustainable. Let's make it more profitable. And unilaterally, the decision was taken to shut down the marketing board, get rid of it, and then we were told that a new entity would come with what you speak, with the private-public partnership. And so I have no faith and no confidence that we would ever see that. I think the goal was to shut down marketing board for whatever reasons, be it personal or be it economical or be it governmental.
Maybe because you lose a case against them a few years ago.
I don't know. I didn't do the research.
Well, I've got the case. I've got the case involving the Grenada rice mills. I've got the case. I know who the lawyer was. They just happened to be Prime Minister right now, and he lost that case against the Marketing and National Importing Board.
Some of us don't like losing. Some of us don't take losing too well. So, if we do lose, when we get in a position, sometimes we have to show that we the man, and so, you beat me, so you might win the fight, but now I'll win the battle.
Yeah. Also, we also were promised during the election campaign 500 houses a year. It's something that a lot of people they probably went to the polls with that on their mind on election morning. 901 days ago, they probably went to the polls with that on their mind. Yes, I'm going to be able to get one of those houses and so on. And 900 days, 2.5 years later, basically, we're still waiting on the houses. I hear a certain MP say that he built 200 in the south, but we're looking to see what we're doing with that one.
Sheldon, when I heard that, I remember specifically saying to my wife, what? I heard it. And I remember saying, what? How? Where? When? Like 500 houses per constituency or per village or whatever was said. And then I was like, it's just not attainable. And I remember sort of kind of dismissing it, saying, oh, people will see right through that, right? And then that was followed up with, the whole Grenadian houses with the backyard and the this, and I'm like, it's just not attainable. It's just, and I was confident that the public would have seen right through it and realized that it was fast talk, realized it was dream talk, pie in the sky. And I guess I was proven wrong that no, there may have been quite a number of people that actually believe, because, and what drew to my attention was that me listening interpreted to mean everybody would get a house, because there was no mention, the craftiness in the statement, there was no mention of course. Anyway, but it's like, we would deliver this to you Grenadians, and this is what we envision for Grenadian, where everybody get, the house with the front lawn and the backyard and whatever. And I was like,
well, no, swimming pool, brother. Swimming, let me add, swimming pool, and I see Jill saying it there. Swimming pool.
And I remember saying to my wife, like, how are you going to do that? You're going to just build these houses and give it to people? Where are they getting the monies from?
But the only person
where are they getting the lands from?
The only person got a house with a swimming pool was the Prime Minister. That's the only person got the house with the swimming pool, was the Prime Minister himself, and the government's Prime Minister residence is sitting there rotting, while he is utilizing a property that we're hearing, and the budget document, I think, bears it out, that you're spending close to $24,000 a month for that property, while Prime Minister's residence, Mount Royal, is sitting there unused.
But it's amazing that he would want to be associated and aligned with Maurice Bishop, when we know, regardless whether or not Maurice came from a petty bourgeois family or back in a background, we know how Maurice felt about the proletariat and his identity in being seen as living among the proletariat, right? But yet, here is the vast difference. I'm not sure where the house is, but if I'm a betting man, I will bet to say it's probably located somewhere in the south of the island. No, I don't think it's in the south. I don't think it's in Sanssouci. I don't think it's in Sanssouci or River Road or Mount Rush or anything like that. So I think I could. I don't gamble, but I might make a safe bet and say it's probably in the south of the island.
Yeah. And the thing is that while that is happening, so you have $24,000 a month that you're spending for that property, and here's a big problem that I have with it as well, brother. That you have put forward absolutely no plan for the existing property. You have not said, okay, that the Governor General does not have an official residence, that you're utilizing a rented property right now for the Governor General. So, okay, we are going to relocate the Governor General to Mount Royal and utilize that as the Governor General's residence. That we're going to upgrade the facility. They haven't said that, okay, we're going to add in certain things there. So we're going to put in a tennis court and a swimming pool and all those sort of things, because I don't think Mount Royal has those kind of things. But we're going to put in a swimming pool and a whatever. They have not put forward a plan and said, we are going to upgrade Mount Royal to the level that we believe a Prime Minister's residence should be. And there's enough land there that you can do that. They haven't said, well, okay, we're going to break down the structure that's there and modernize it. We're going to build a new structure or whatever. Nothing like that. They just move out, you're going and you're living down there and you're spending $24,000 a month on a property. And the Prime Minister's property sit down there empty with bush growing around it.
But Sheldon, is that rent that you're speaking of prorated? And so, because you're speaking of 24,000 EC dollars, but what happened when half the month may be spent outside of the country, and so There's additional cost for hotel and all of that. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, you paying for a property where probably half the time is not being utilized, but I believe you still, maybe it's prorated. Maybe whenever he's not there, he doesn't have to pay.
No, man.
I don't know. Well,
No,
he's
because,
not paying.
and remember,
We don't have to pay because it's our tax money that's paying for it.
And remember, you've got to remember that there has to be a staff for the upkeep of both facilities. Because, well, I'm hoping that there's still a staff at Mount Royal that's upkeeping the facility, although I just pass every now and again. I find the bush could do a little cutting every now and again.
From time to time I pass, and yes, sometimes it gets a little out of hand, but
Yeah,
then
like just cut it now and again.
They cut it, yes, they do cut
Yeah,
it. So.
I don't know if it's prisoners that does utilize or whatever they does do, but it does cut every now and again. But I'm not sure, because you would have to have people that upkeep that facility, and yet still you're upkeeping a second facility. And the question you have to ask, is there any sensible, reasonable, economic reason why the Prime Minister is not staying at Prime Minister's residence?
We got the reason. It's overlooking River Road, Sanssouci, Montrush, and those despicable areas.
No, but that's why we say any sensible reason. That ain't sensible.
No, that's not sensible. I got you.
I wouldn't accuse these guys of that. I don't want to be taken to court for making false misrepresentations of people's character. So, because I wouldn't say that they've made a sensible statement. Like, I don't want to misrepresent people. They ain't sensible.
Well, I just would like to let the people of River Road, Sanssouci, Montrush know that I'm with them. I was fortunate. I was lucky to get a beautiful wife out of River Road, and I'm very proud and I'm very happy.
Boast man, boast now. What's your man blushing and all kind of? Mrs. O, good night. Yes, indeed, my brother. But yeah, because I mean, there's so many issues, and I think they've been focusing, and even us, we've been focusing a lot on the new National Party convention, and even when you look at some of the people who have been focusing on the NNP convention, they have not made a single statement, written a single article in relation to the fact that the Prime Minister is not living in the Prime Minister's residence. He is basically living in another location, utilizing tens of thousands of dollars, a couple $100,000 every year for a rented property when there is an existing property, and the additional staff that would be needed to maintain the property where he's at, plus you have staff that would have to maintain the existing property and so on, which runs into tens of thousands of dollars additional. And they haven't said anything about that, but they have the most to say about Dr. Mitchell.
Well, Sheldon, not only that, the loudest voices out there that are advocating for their candidate, and they probably do have a right to advocate for their candidate, are the same ones that I've never seen. And you used to be sitting at NNP executive meetings, right? And I've been going to executive meetings quite a number of years now, and you never see any one of them, Hamlet Mac, I'll call the name, KB, at an executive meeting, but yet they're the ones that want to tell and feel they have the right to tell the public about the state of NNP and what NNP is doing and what NNP should not be doing. You're not even an NNP member. You're not even registered in the new National Party. So who gives you the right to want to speak on behalf of the new National Party?
Well, not only that, my friend, but again, there have been so many issues. We've spoken tonight about the crime situation, the existing situation with the Royal Grenada Police Force, which there's an issue there I want to touch back on in a little while. But the Royal Grenada Police Force, we've spoken about the situation, Marketing and National Importing Board, the situation with the Prime Minister's residence, and I'm going to speak a short while again about oil and gas, because I don't want us to forget it. The elements of the NDC, they have been jumping on NNP business so much because they want us to forget the nation's business. So they have been trying to get us to focus on what they want us to focus on and respond to them. And they don't want us to focus on what has been taking place in this country. Now, we heard the Prime Minister that when it comes to the issue of oil and gas, that, well, yes, he acknowledged, after Gregory Bowen had to come out and expose the fact, he acknowledged that, yes, the documents were found. Then he said that by the end of November, and today is the 10th of December, but he said by the end of November, we'd have a press conference by the people with oil and gas. I'm hearing that there possibly was a meeting last week between GPG and the government of Grenada, and no report. All of these things is like is a silent organization, is a secret organization.
Sheldon, how can there be boisterous noise when, for years, since 2018, the narrative of the national, the Congress, the National Democratic Congress, has been, it was campaign mamagism. There's no oil and no gas. It was a gimmick to get votes. So I guess that basically you were saying that the Grenadian people were that stupid that the political leader said something on a Sunday and they were going and vote maybe the Tuesday or the Wednesday, and because he said that they will cast their vote. Because that 15-0 in 2018 really did shook them, right? And so for all these years, political gimmick is a lie, no oil and gas, no. And now when the whole thing got blown up in Nigeria and they got exposed, crickets. Crickets. So the administration, remember, some of those that are in the administration now were on the campaign trail, and even prior to the campaign trail, talking about that it was political lies, no oil and gas, no oil and gas, no oil and gas. Now, they're exposed after our beloved prime minister stuck into a country and was exposed by the governor of that state, and everything come to light now. What can they say?
Well, I still will again make this call from Talking Points on behalf of the Talking Points family, and literally there are tens of thousands of us making this call on behalf of the Talking Points family to the government of Grenada. Have your press conference. We want to hear what you all have done thus far as obtains to the issue of oil and gas. We want to know. Yeah, we want updates in relation to the documents that all you had and say all you didn't have. We want to know exactly what is taking place otherwise. Yeah, we're hearing agreements signed, we're hearing all sort of things. We want to know, did you all have a meeting with GPG recently? What was the outcome of that meeting? Which blocks are up for grabs? Because we know GPG controls certain blocks, so there are other blocks that can be investigated. And new companies coming in. Which companies? I think the Grenadian people could get a little something on that, isn't it?
We might have to send Detective Simon out in the field to do a little more digging, because, I mean, thanks to Sister Jenny, we seem to be getting a lot more information, because
we'll send Detective Simon.
Our government is good. I mean, I wish I had, when I was in the military, I wish I had this NDC government as my partner in the military, because they maintain radio silence. And you know, when you're on some covert operations, radio silence is key towards achieving your goal, and they're good. They're very good with radio silence. When I was in the Middle East in 2006, I should have sent for members of the of this administration to be there with me.
All you wanted to lose war, go ahead. I did mention that I wanted to return on an issue as obtains to the Royal Grenada Police Force, and in particular, one particular section, the Coast Guard. What have you been hearing? Because I've been hearing some horror stories when it comes to the Coast Guard. Everything from problems with equipment, including vessels and so on, the facilities for sleeping, and so even I've also been hearing similar when it comes to the Special Services Unit. You have a situation where basically guys been sleeping head to foot. they don't have space head to. You better hope your partner foot smelling good, because it's sleeping head to, sorry SSU guys.
you probably remember late 2022 and 2023 when we have the spate of rising crime, and we know a lot of it was because of our porous border. That was one of the things that were highlighted, that we need to invest and reach out to our strategic partners in the region, Southcom and all these agencies regarding beefing up our Coast Guard. And to date, I don't think no real investment was made in terms of that happening. And let's face it, equipment will deteriorate. If you're using it time and time again, it's on the sea, it would deteriorate. But if you don't take the time to invest and to procure new equipment, sooner or later you would be left with nothing. And I think we're probably almost nearing the stage where it's at that. I mean, even for maritime, for fishermen and so, I mean, you hear the stories that don't even bother call the Coast Guard if you're lost at sea, because they would most likely tell you that they don't have the fuel to go searching. So you have to enlist other small fishing craft that probably sometimes does not even have the proper equipment to go look for your brother or sister, whoever is lost at sea. But again, we did not proper planning. There was no proper planning. We spoke about that at length when it came to national security. You have to plan ahead. Where's the 5-year plan? Where's the 10-year plan? Yeah, you come and you meet this, they're not going to last forever. So you have to put things in place so that, okay, this is the lifespan is this, and we should look to, look, well, no, this one I wouldn't even touch.
So no, sometimes we don't see.
Yeah, no, you can't say it because it will be a national security thing as it relates to our office. But it had to do with something that they got years ago, and I could tell you today, no one has reached out and say, well, hey, does this thing have a shelf life? What's the
I know what you're talking about.
So you had to leave it alone.
We go leave that one.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I catch you. But the thing is that I think that some approach needs to be made in relation to addressing the concerns with the Coast Guard. I must congratulate them, and also congratulate Dowden Aviation, the helicopter company, because sometime I think either today or yesterday, they were involved in the rescue of 2 persons outside, about 10 miles outside of St. Mark. I saw something on Uncut News in relation to that. So they worked along with the aviation company, the new aviation company, and they were able to save the lives. I think they find the 2 fellas swimming,
Right.
They find the boat, but they find the 2 guys swimming 10 miles off St. Mark.
Well,
so
I'm quite sure and I'm confident, maybe you don't know, but Mr. Dowden is a retired police officer from New York, from New Jersey.
He's also a cop.
He was a police officer in New Jersey.
Yeah, man.
So I was in New York, he was in New Jersey, but my military base was located where he was a police officer in New Jersey, in that general vicinity. So of course, he brings that sort of added thing. So I'm quite sure once that call came over, without thinking, he fired up and was on the way. So we of course we welcome that. But again, this is a private entity. Our government should be looking to invest so that we equip our guys. Again, we brought back a retiree. We brought back somebody that was, on terminal leave or looking to retire, and we put them in charge of the Coast Guard. And we talked about succession planning. So that individual should be operating that entity in such a way that when he does finally go, whoever is next in command is well prepared to carry on the mission. But instead of that, it seems that things are falling apart.
Do you think that there anyone within this administration that has the international contacts to be able to secure, probably free of cost for the people of Grenada, the type of equipment that we need to secure our borders, for the Royal Grenada Police Force, for the Coast Guard unit, for the Immigration Department? And I think oftentimes we overlook the Immigration Department and not understand the importance of the Immigration Department. Remember, these are the guys that had to keep the bad guys out, These are the guys that had to keep the bad guys out. Their job is so very important, huh?
I will say no. And the reason why I will say no is because these guys are so egotistic. They exhibit such egotistical tendencies among themselves that they actually operate with a crab in a barrel mentality. And as a result of that, I don't think any one of them has really differentiated and outshined. Now you have the individual that's in charge of port, former police officer, former deputy commissioner. He does have some contacts. So that's a source you could use. You could tap, because it doesn't necessarily even has to be a active police officer, but a person with contacts. I'm no longer in NYPD, but I still maintain active relationship with a lot of current personnel in there, some of which I trained them, I was their boss, and so you maintain that. Some of them were my boss, and they're still there. The point is building relationships. I don't think none of these guys, or at least as far as I know, and I've not seen it. I know even when I was an active police officer, those that used to communicate with me and reach out to me, and I could tell you, I could safely say, of the top echelon, of the top 5 guys, I've never spoken to any one of them regarding anything, and they're not upper management. You know, maybe they do have other contacts, but I don't have the faith and confidence that know that they have that international contact that you can, you know, get the goods. Because oftentimes with things like that, right, you have the donor agencies. Listen, you were in government, but these guys are so egotistical that they think that they will just sit there and somebody will call you up and say, no, you're going to be bidding, but here who you're going to be bidding with? St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Dominica, in that these guys have contacts, right? So when you have equipment that has to be donated or given away, or if you're looking for, people would tend to go to who they have that relationship with. So if you're just sitting there, every now and then you might get a little something, but what you're going to get is the crumbs. And the guys that are active and build this relationship and foster the relationship, when they do have the big stuff, they'll say, oh, yeah, you know, we're getting rid of this. Barbados is looking for this. Boom, 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 boom.
So let me ask you this question, though, because I know you gave the island of Grenada a whole fire truck. He doesn't talk about it, but you gave 2 fire trucks, not 1. So you gave Grenada 2 fire trucks. On behalf of the people of St. David, and the people of St. David, you all know I love you, and you all always have a special place in my heart and soul. I need a fire truck for St. David's. Oh God, get one and donate it now, because Honorable Oliver Joseph built the fire station. Up to now, NDC can't put the fire truck. So please, we need. In fact, watch St. David big. We want 1. We want 2. We begging big.
I will make some calls and see what can be done in terms of procuring. But
yeah,
you know, there was a spate of fires in Grenada at one time. I think maybe 5 or 6 or so. And so you know, the administration through Dr. Mitchell did reach out, and you know, I was able to you know, I did buy the trucks. They did cost money, but because you know, a fire apparatus it could be an expensive piece of thing running in, you know, brand new in the millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But you know, through contacts again, through relationships, I was able to you know, to procure it to a manageable cost where you know, I could write a check and Miss Olivier didn't hand me divorce papers.
But no, we need a 2 fire truck. I mean, come Nimrod Olivier, St. David people need a 2 fire trucks.
I would make some calls and see what's available and
if you want to speak to the people in charge of fire department to get the specifics, because St. David, you have to look at the terrain, you have to look at the type of roads in certain areas. Well, it has some areas of St. David right now I want to say is road that they have, but anyhow, you want to look at the roads and different things. St. David need a 2 fire truck. They are the fire station waiting.
You said a key thing. I might want to speak to them. They might not want to speak to me for fear of, you know, what might happen to them.
But at least we go make the approach. If you want to bring me here too, are we going? We go talk to them, because St. David people need that. Somebody mentioned it there, and I thought I would raise it one time, because I remember that you were instrumental in getting fire trucks for Grenada before, and we need. And while you're at it, if you're getting a bargain deal, take a 2 for the south too now, because by the time the lead day, and you understand what was going on with us down in the south. So
I will make some call and see what's in the market, what's available, and see whether or not you know, the checkbook could facilitate.
You know, if the Navy have 2 helicopters they want to. No, I mean, if I beg you not to beg big, yeah.
I was in the CB, so anything to do with the Marines and so then yeah, I could think that I ain't over helicopter. I was in the CBs, which is the Marine part of the Navy,
building and so on and repairing and them kind of thing.
Yes.
So, but no, seriously, we need to get at we need to get some of these things. Folks, I'm speaking with my good brother there, Nimrod Olivier. I think we have just about a 20 minutes remaining. I can't take the calls because it doesn't come through. Yeah, I can't.
Time flies when you're having good conversation.
Well, you see, that's the thing. We're talking all kind of thing tonight. And again, it's coming up to the end of the year. And folks, yes, I most likely will be closing off programming somewhere towards the ending of next week. Maybe. Because you all know as a kind of man, something might happen. And you just hear, we haven't programmed tonight. And I send out a message that we haven't programmed. And I come inside the studio and do a program. But technically, we're due to end programming for this year. I mean, let me go and eat a little piece of cake, drink a little sorrel and ginger with little bit of sugar, not much. And me and JJ go on the beach and thing and relax yourself and take a little bit. So most likely next week, Friday, would be the final program for the year. So we're just going over some of the things that have been happening for the year. And even before that too, with my good friend Nimrod Olivier, he's here tonight. You know his background, especially in law enforcement and so. And a lot of other things, and the thing is just law enforcement. They know White in the Moonlight used to be it, you know. That's the number one carnival activity. Yeah.
No, I listen, I was a police officer, but I never missed a carnival around the world, man. I traveled around the world for every carnival, enjoy myself. I worked hard, and I also like the culture. So I used to partake in the culture wherever it is, because I believe in giving young people a break, exposing young people. And to date, I still have a lot of relationship as a result of giving people exposure and bringing them up, you know. Yeah.
Rodney Rich.
Rodney not sleeping yet. But Sheldon, there's something I know you before I came on, I heard you talking about it, but I just want to reiterate. So every time it's the holiday time. So the WhatsApp thing has been going for a while, but people have. I just want to impress on our listeners, on your listeners, and people in the listening audience that around the holiday time, the scams tend to pick up a lot more. Yep. Right? Because, it's holiday time, we are a little more joyous. We might be a little more free-handed with our money. We save all year and we look towards Christmas time. So, you get a call, hey, I got this going on. Send me a couple $100, send me $1,000 and we think. But it's incumbent. You cannot stress it enough. You do not need to give anyone a code for a WhatsApp meeting. Right? There's no code. So if someone calls you and tells you, hey, we have a Talking Points meeting tonight, or we have a Galaxy meeting tonight, and in order for you to join, well, first of all, the meeting is tonight. But you're sending a code to my phone now. Why would I give you the code now for a meeting that's tonight? And Zoom works. Well, if it's a WhatsApp meeting, you definitely don't need a code. And if it's Zoom, you send the link. But there's no code to repeat. The minute time you repeat the code, they take control of your WhatsApp, and then they start to perpetrate the scams on other persons in your contact by calling them and tell them that they need, send me $500 now, or I need you to do me a favor. I'm trying to, the common one is, and people fall for it. I'm trying to, do me a favor, I'm trying to send $500 for somebody, but I can't get access to my bank account now. So send it and I'll give you back tomorrow. Well, just wait until tomorrow and send it for the person. Why you need me to send it if you're going to give me back tomorrow? So we have to be vigilant. Anytime people call and tell you about a meeting and a code is coming, repeat the numbers for me. Do not repeat it. Anytime you repeat it, they're going to take control of your phone. We cannot stress it enough. And this the holiday season. They're going to call your contact, give them some, not even a sad story, just, it's not even believable. But again, we fall for it because we figure, hey, Sheldon Scott called and Sheldon needs $500.
A message.
Yeah, exactly. Please. When they do that, when the person tell you about the code, just tell them you don't see. Tell them that about 2-3 times, and you'll see how belligerent and how angry they will get with you on the phone. And sometimes they even curse you because it's a scam. Yeah. And their thing is to try and get as much of us as thing. I often play along with them, and I'm like, okay, no problem. Let me meet you. Oh, you know, no. I'm like, all right, well, yeah, you go and you in there and say, guy, you're talking to a former police officer here, right? And you get them cuss the word F you and they hang up or they,
Yeah. Well, I spoke
but
to one up to last week. One called me and he said, oh, Mr. Scott, I'm calling and inviting you to a meeting. We got a meeting and I have your number here. I have to get you. So this is, you will tell me the code that I sent to your phone. I said, boss, I'm working with the FBI, right now. We just get your number. So thanks very much for that. We'll be passing that on to before I could finish the statement, hang up and block, One time they hang up and they block you. So I know what it is with these guys, but they're also outside of that scam that's going around. I think folks need to understand certain other things. And as a former police officer, you would understand, for instance, I would advise people who are buying items at this time, those of you that can afford or friends and family have sent items to you, be very careful of how you're disposing the boxes and so that they come in. Sometimes you're telling the criminal in the area which house to break in.
Yeah.
Because if he pass and he see the box for a new TV, you see a box for a new microwave, you just get a new blender, this, that, the other, and they see all the box and thing come for that. They see that you buy 2 new laptop or whatever, and they see the boxes for that in the garbage out in front of your home. Guess where they go in and break?
yeah.
The
Again,
moment you leave home, that's where they go in.
We have to be a little more vigilant. We have to, pay attention because that's when we are most vulnerable. Our God is done. It's a joyous season. In a celebratory mood. But not everybody intends on celebrating. Some people are scoping their praise.
Yeah.
They're about to pray on you, and so they're looking and they're observing. So you have to be diligent, right? And this information is not just for us to keep it for ourselves, but to share it and to let persons know under no circumstance you don't share code that WhatsApp is not even going to call you on the phone. There is no Zoom meeting. First of all, if somebody calls you and they tell you they're calling from Talking Point, well, you know Sheldon voice. So if the voice doesn't sound like Sheldon voice, you hang up and you call Talking Points. You call Sheldon number and you ask, hey, you calling about a meeting? And he's going to say no, right? But don't. I get too much of it, and sometimes people.
And they're heavy on Grenada with it, huh? They're heavy on Grenada with
because
it.
Because we are fallen victim, and once the thing is, once they get one contact, now they have access to all the contacts in your phone.
And all the chat messages, and so the chat rooms that you're in, so they have access to all the people in the chat. They would hear what you're speaking about, and then they frame their messages that they're going to send to all those people based on the chat rooms that you're in. And so, and another important thing though, same as the caller that called a while ago and said, look, I've lost access to my WhatsApp. That is what you have to do. If that caller now was in a chat room that I had, I would immediately delete that number from the chat group and inform folks within the chat group, hey, this number has been compromised. Other than that, the people who have compromised it would be able to access everybody in that group. And then each of them might be in other chat groups. So it just keeps expanding. What the caller did is the exact right thing. He called and said, hey, this is me. My WhatsApp has been compromised. So he did the exact right thing that you should do when that happens.
Sheldon, as a matter of fact, as you said that just last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, it did happen to one of the groups that I'm in. And it was an important group. Mm-hmm. And 2 persons in the group get compromised. But they called me like third because I was one of the admins in the group. Mm-hmm. And I guess if they was able to control my profile then. So when I got the call, I played along a little. And then immediately I deleted the 2 numbers and then I deleted that number. And so he was blocked out from the group. And then I let everybody in the group know, hey, so-and-so in the group was compromised. I deleted them from the group. And so be careful. I don't think he'll access anybody else in the group because I already deleted him from the group. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, indeed.
But I guess they're, trying, because if you get the admin of the group now, you control, everything that goes on in that group.
But one or two other things before we run out of time. Folks, for security-wise, when you're shopping for the Christmas, those of you that might have money, I don't know, some people do have, but those of you that may
What's
have
that? People still walk around with cash?
you'll be very surprised. So, folks, don't walk around with large amounts of cash on you. Remember, when you lose it, you lose all. And the problem we have again is that not many places use the debit card. The main supermarkets and so they use it, but not many of the stores where you might go to buy something or so use the debit cards and so as much as possible. But don't walk around with large amounts of money. Don't leave large amounts of money in your vehicle and that sort of thing. Also, another thing that I would say is be careful when you do your purchases. Don't buy a set of things for the house and toys and groceries and leave it on the back seat or the front seat of your car and go about your business. You might come back and meet your car broken into. You may come back and meet your vehicle broken into and your items gone. Or again, you're telling a person, mark that person, oh, I know where he living, I know where she's living, and they mark your home. If possible, place it in your trunk. If possible, again, place it on the floor in the car so somebody passing by has to make an effort to see what it is that you have inside the car. And all of these things, just to keep yourself safe, check your locks, your windows. Don't go and leave your place open. Yeah, you're going, make sure that you've securely locked your building when you're leaving your workplace, your building, because even over the Christmas season is the point in time that some people look to break into business place, you know, because they realize, well, nobody in there for a few days, that's the best time for them to take and try to break into a place. So make sure your place of work, you properly secure it. Don't leave items out that you could secure otherwise. Secure what you have to secure, that sort of thing. But there are various things, and probably in and between now and the end of the year, we're going to give people a few more tips
Always
on how to secure. You know?
Definitely, you should keep pointing it out.
Look out for the pickpockets too, eh? It have.
Yes.
It has some pickpockets around.
Constant reminder.
Yeah. I know, in fact, you know, a few years ago, there was this ring of pickpockets, and what they would do is go from carnival to carnival in the region.
Yes.
So they would come to Grenada for carnival, and people would be hanging out, and you just lose your money and so. And these people were making good money doing that, you know. They were pickpocketing here. They would go Trinidad carnival, pickpocket, crop over, pickpocket, and they just going different places. That was their means of living.
You saying pickpocket? It was actually cut pocket. They used to cut your pocket and
Man, yeah. So you have to be careful, and because some people don't have already, to go and lose the little that you have is not easy. So you have to be very careful out there with what is taking place. Nimrod, Olivier, our final piece of discussion tonight as we head to the 10 o'clock hour convention on Sunday. Are you ready? Is St. George Northeast ready? Yeah, you all ready?
I'm ready. I'm excited, and I mean it's going to be a convention that, you know, obviously determines the future of the new national party.
Historic.
And it will be historic, and it will be you know, the charting and continue building of the new national party going forward. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm honored to be to be participating in such an event, sheldon.
Yes, indeed. And I'm looking forward to being there. I'm not a delegate, so nobody don't call me and try to tell me who to vote. I'm not a delegate.
So you're an observer?
I'll be observing. Yeah, that's not a delegate.
And Sheldon, before I leave, I know Brother Philip did call, but I also must say, you know, my heartfelt thank you, you know, as the chairman of the 40th anniversary committee, to all our participants throughout the year for all the activities that we had celebrating our 40th anniversary. And even though our Green Day or our anniversary day was, you know, December 3rd, we still have some more activities that's coming up in the year, because, you know, the anniversary continues until, you know, it's 40 years until you get to the 41st year, right? So we will have some more activities coming out, and we will put it out. I want to thank everyone that came out to the banquet, to our banquet at Pier 57, and our rally at Beauséjour, where you know, we heard from Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, our Prime Minister and our former Prime Minister and our current political leader, and the Honorable Andrew Holness from Jamaica and the Honorable political leader Alan Shasney from St. Lucia, as well as a whole cadre of young speakers. I mean, Sheldon, weren't you excited seeing all these young people on the stage and the message that they were carrying?
Dr. Mayana Charles just keeps getting better and better each time you hear her.
Itaka, Ali, Sister Kate, right? Amanda Japal, even Mrs. Olivier. You know, I mean, it's just exciting for us. So when I hear people saying that no one of substance came into the NNP recently, I just shake my head, because you see, some people are so wrapped up in their own ego that they can't even realize that the ship has sailed around them and they are no longer relevant. And so they try to remain relevant by even saying stuff that are untrue and try to demean a party which they claim that they're defending. I mean, you look at that rally in Busseju, you look at the last 3 or so zonal meeting, you look at the Elevate youth rally, and you see where the young people are excited because they realize the NDC administration is a failed administration and they want to take the country back. And they know the only way that they can do that is by putting the trust and the confidence in the new national party, who has been tried and tested when it comes to governance, and then know going forward for the betterment of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, you have to return the new national party to govern in this country so that we can continue and carry out the rescue mission to save this little rock of ours.
Nimrod Olivier, I want to thank you for joining us tonight on Talking Points. It's been wonderful having you and having this little chat. It's like if I had somebody in the studio with me, you know? You know? And it's been a year since I had anybody in the studio with me with the new studio and setup and everything. You know, it's kind of difficult.
Well, maybe you should you know, maybe before the last show, do something for the Christmas, something exciting, and, you know, we come in the studio and have fun, drink some, I don't drink alcohols, but we could drink some sorrel and ginger beer, eat some black cake.
With little bit of sugar, not much. Little bit. I keep saying that, a little bit of sugar.
A little bit of sugar, right?
I get into that stage. I have to be careful.
Some sorrel, some ginger beer, and, you know, have some fun, and just, you know, bring in the Christmas and bring some cheer to our people, because we know that our people has been going through a lot in this Grenada.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe it would be a good idea that we bring some cheer to them for the holidays, and they go into the holiday season. And come 2025, we will be in full swing as we endeavor and take on the challenge of rescuing Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
Nimrod Olivier, thank you so very much, my brother. Do enjoy the rest of your night. Rodney, bedtime.
Rodney,
bedtime. Good night, Rodney.
He's setting up. He's excited because he have party tomorrow. Is he class party? So you're all excited.
Class party tomorrow. All right. I'm passing through. I will get cake and ice cream. Do enjoy the rest of your night, my brother.
Thank you.
Right, you have a good one.
All right. Blessed.
Folks, we were speaking there with my good brother Nimrod Olivier. And yeah, let me just speaking there with my good friend Mr. Nimrod Olivier. Discussion on a wide range of topics and so on. And indeed, it was a wonderful one. It actually felt like, you know, back in the days when you have somebody in studio with you, for me, it felt a bit like that tonight. Yeah? So I'd like to once again thank Mr. Nimrod Olivier. Also, I want to thank each and every one of you that have joined us tonight on Talking Points. And indeed, remember to hit the like button if you have not done so. Hit the like button before you leave. And make sure to remember to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. Talking Points has been on. If they missed it, they can get it on the YouTube or the Facebook. And then tomorrow night, we're back on with more Talking Points for you. My name's Sheldon Scott. I am out of here. In whatever you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Love each and every one of you. I am out.
Santa, all the money done. Meet him in fishing trial. Fish,